Okay, so we have created a basic 960 grid, and now what we need to do, and that's a 12 column approach. Now what we need to do, because it's a responsive design, we need to adjust this without changing the structure. We need to change the sizes to to add a 12 and a 4 column layout. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this 12 column grid and I'm going to right click and I'm going to duplicate that, the 12 column grid, and I'm going to call that 8 column grid. And what that allows me to do is to delete some of the different elements on here. So I'm going to delete 4 of those to make it an 8 column grid. And now that I've got that 8 column grid, while I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and do the 4 column grid too. So I'm going to duplicate this one, and I'm going to call that one 4 column grid. And so that now I've got 4 columns to work with. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to duplicate these pages. So I got page 1, page 2, and page 3. And the page 1 is going to be the 12 column. The page 2 is going to be the 8 column, and page 3 will be the 4 column grid layout. So now that I've created those backgrounds, all that I have to do is I can click on this page here, right click, and I'm going to have to move that up so you can see it. Bear with me just a second. So I'm going to right click on that and I'm going to do page setup. And so it shows me page 2, and I can change the background to 8 column grid. And you'll see that the 8 columns are there, and I'm going to go ahead and change this, and while I'm here, so page 3 is my 4 column grid, page 2 is my 8 column grid, and page 1 is my 12 column grid. The 12 column grid is already where we need it to be, so I'm not going to mess with that one. I'm going to go to page 2, and I can see, that's the nice thing about having this template, is that I can see where I need to go to. So I am going to resize my header so that it fits within there, and then I'm going to resize my navigation. Now I have some options here that I have to think about. Do I want to bring this all the way over here now that I'm in 8 column, or do I want to do it like this, or do I want to do it like this? These are decisions that you have to make, but what each of those decisions are going to do is affect the way that it looks at. Because what you're going to be doing is, when we introduce the media queries, you'll be doing the math for each of these, and it will determine where this is going to sit. So continuing down, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to make these left, center, and right considerably smaller. So I'm really going to have to make a decision here. What do I want to do with these when I am at what is the equivalent of the tablet size? So page 2 is the 8 column grid. I'm going to call that tablet, just so that I know what I'm working on. And page 3, I'm going to rename that to be phone, just to have a generic name in there. So I'm designing for the tablet right now. I've already designed for my large screen. And so now I have to start making decisions. I know that my footer's going to have to come over to be this side. What I want to do is I'm going to change it so that these remain at 4 because 8 doesn't divide by 3, and my content would be getting pretty small there. But in this one, I'm going to set this one so that it can be the full 8 columns wide. And the widths, the heights will are not that critical at this point. So I'm moving these things in. Now, if I wanted to, I could set this to being 3 and 3, or I could do it 4 and 3. I can do whatever I want with this, but you just need to be cognizant of how you want it to look when you are in the process of designing for that, in this case, tablet. So you really have to have an understanding of what you're designing for as you're going through and doing this. So this is the way that I'm going to do it. That's going to be my 8-column setup right there. And so you notice how quick and easy that was to do, at least in this mock-up. Now I've got 4, and obviously my header is going to have to come down to 4. I'm going to keep that 4. My nav is going to come down to 4. And what I'm going to do with these, and recognizing that this is just a mock-up and that these will adjust to the size of the content, their height. What you're doing is you're controlling their width. I'm going to reduce these all down to being 4 columns. And I have to reduce my main body down to 4 columns as well. Now, this is not going to leave you any gutter. These are decisions that you'll work through the grid system. You may find that you want to have a gutter, or you may put some padding inside of these. That's decisions that will be made later, but for the purpose of the responsive grid and the math that we're doing, getting to understand this, we're going to go so that everything is going to be 4 column. We'll make this 3 column, and maybe we'll have a logo image over here or something. Well, anyway, that's the way that we're going to do it for the cell phone. Actually, let's move that over there. And that wraps up the use of Visio to do the layout. Now, what I need you to do is I need you to figure out the math for each of the elements in the large screen, each of the elements in the tablet, and each of the elements in the phone. And you need to keep in mind the context, so that the nav sits inside of this sits inside of the main body. All 3 of them do. So you'll have to think a little bit more about what the math is going to be to make these work. And then I want you to do the same thing for the tablet, and I want you to do the same thing for the iPhone, recognizing that, and I didn't do this, my wrapper is going to come down to, this isn't going to be 960 pixels. Actually, I need to keep that gutter on that side, and that'll correct some of the problems that I was worried about. We will still have a gutter because there's a 10 pixel gutter on the outside of each of those from where the wrapper has it. So what you're going to have to figure out is, for instance, the wrapper in this case is 4 columns, so it's going to be 4 times 80. You'll be working with 320 pixels in this case as the outer thing. So keep that context in mind and do the math, come up with the numbers for the large screen, the tablet, and the phone, and you will need to have the percentages is what I want to see. Show me the math on all of these different things. So the equation, as you recall, is the target divided by the content equals the result. So show me that math for all of the elements in the large screen, the tablet, and the phone.